Hello. So it's been quite a while since I've done a video. I've had a lot going on, but maybe I'll do a video to update everybody on what's going on. But we're going to go ahead and jump into scientific facts of the Bible. 100 reasons to believe the Bible is supernatural in origin by Ray Comfort. Alright, so I think we're on part 11, and I'm on chapter 10, Archaeology in the Bible. Archaeology and History Attest to the Bible by Richard M. Fales, Ph.D. No other ancient book is questioned or maligned like the Bible. Critics looking for fly speck in the masterpiece allege that there was a long span between time the events in the New Testament occurred and when they were recorded. They claim another gap exists archaeologically between the earliest copies made and the autographs of the New Testament. In reality, the alleged spaces and so-called gaps exist only in the minds of the critics. Manuscript evidence. Aristotle's Ode to Poetics was written between 384 and 322 BC. The earliest copy of his work dates AD 1100, and there are only 49 extant manuscripts. The gap between the original writings and the earliest copies is 1,400 years. There are only 7 extant manuscripts of Plato's tetralogies written 427 to 347 BC. The earliest copy is AD 900, a gap of over 1,200 years. What about the New Testament? Jesus was crucified in AD 30. The New Testament was written between AD 48 and 95. The oldest manuscripts date to the last quarter of the 1st century and the second oldest AD 125. This gives us a narrow gap of 35 to 40 years for the originals written by the apostles. From the early centuries, we have some 5,300 Greek manuscripts of the New Testament. Altogether, including the Syriac, Latin, Coptic, and Aramaic, we have a whopping 24,633 texts of the ancient New Testament to confirm the wording of the scripture. So the bottom line is, there was no great period between the events of the New Testament and the New Testament writings. Nor is there a great time lapse between the original writings and the original copies. With the great body of manuscript evidence, it can be proved beyond a doubt that the New Testament says exactly the same things today as it originally did nearly 2,000 years ago. Corroborating writings. Critics also charge that there are no ancient writings about Jesus outside the New Testament. This is another ridiculous claim. Writings confirming his birth, ministry, death, and resurrection, including Flavius Josephus, AD 93, the Babylonian Talmud, AD 70 to 200, Pliny the Younger's letters to the Europe Trajan, approximately AD 100, and Annals of Tacitus, AD 115 to 117, Mara bar Serapion, sometime after AD 73, and Suetonius, Life of Claudius, and Life of Nero, AD 120. Another point of contention arises when the Bible critics have knowingly or unknowingly misled people by implying that the Old and New Testament books were either excluded from or added into the canon of Scripture at the great ecumenal councils of AD 363, 382, 397, and 419. In fact, one result of these gatherings was to confirm the Church's beliefs that the books are already in the Bible were divinely inspired. Therefore, the Church at these meetings neither added to nor took away from the books of the Bible. At one time, 39 Old Testament books had already been accepted, and the New Testament as it was written, simply grew up with the ancient church. Yes? Can you wait just 1 second? Mm-hmm. Thank you. Each document being accepted as it was penned in the first century was then passed on to Christians of the next century. So this foolishness about the Roman Emperor Constantine dropping books from the Bible is simply an uneducated rumor. Modern archaeology confirms the Bible. In extraordinary ways, modern archaeology is affirming the historical core of the Old and New Testament, supporting key portions of crucial biblical stories. Jeffrey L. Shelter is the Bible's true reader. Is the Bible true? Reader's Digest, June 2000. The Dead Sea Scrolls bear out the Bible, by William F. Albright. The discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls, DSS, at Qumran in 1949 had significant effects in corroborating evidence for the scriptures. The ancient texts found hidden in the posts and cliff-top caves by a monastic religious community confirms the reliability of the Old Testament text. These texts, which were copied and studied by the Essenes, include one complete Old Testament book, Isaiah, and thousands of fragments representing very Old Testament books, except Esther. The manuscripts date from the 3rd century BC into the 1st century AD, and gives the earliest window found so far into the text of the Old Testament books and their predictive prophecies. The Qumran texts have become an important witness for the divine origin of the Bible, providing further evidence against the criticism of such crucial books as Daniel and Isaiah. Dating the manuscripts. Carbon-14 dating is a reliable form of scientific dating when applied to uncontaminated material several thousand years old. Results indicated an age of 1917 years with a 200-year 10% variant. Paleography, ancient writing forms, and orthography, spelling, indicated that some manuscripts were inscribed before 100 BC. Albright set the date of the complete Isaiah scroll to around 100 BC. There can happily not be the slightest doubt in the world about the genius of the manuscripts. Archaeological dating. Collaborative evidence for an early date came from archaeology. Potter accompanying the manuscripts was late Hellenistic c. 150 to 63 BC. The early Roman 63 BC to AD 100. Coins found in the monastery ruins prove by their inscriptions to have been minted between 135 BC and AD 135. The weave and patterns of the cloth supported an early date. There is no reasonable doubt that the Qumran manuscripts came from the century before Christ and the 1st century AD. Significance of dating. Previous to the DSS, Dead Sea Scrolls, The earliest known manuscript of the Old Testament was the Masoretic text AD 900, and two others dating about AD 1000, from which, for example, the King James Version of the Old Testament derived in translation. Perhaps most would have considered the Masoretic text as a very late text and therefore questioned the reliability of the Old Testament wholesale. The Dead Sea Scrolls eclipse these texts by 1,000 years and provided little reason to question their reliability, and further presents only confidence for the text. The beauty of the Dead Sea Scrolls lies in the close match they have with the Masoretic text. Demonstrable evidence of reliability and preservation of the authentic text through the centuries. So the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls provides evidence for the following: 1. Confirmation of the Hebrew text. 2. Support for the Masoretic text. And 3. Support for the Greek translation of the Hebrew text, the Septuagint. Since the New Testament often quotes from the Greek Old Testament, the Dead Sea Scrolls furnish the reader with further confidence for the Masoretic text in this area where it can be tested. Generated from the Norman Geisler Dead Sea Scrolls, Baker Encyclopedia of Christian Apologetics. Archaeological discoveries in the Bible. Archaeology has confirmed countless passages which have been rejected by critics as unhistorical or contradictory to known facts. Yet archaeological discoveries have shown that these critical changes are wrong and that the Bible is trustworthy in the very statements which have been set aside as untrustworthy. We do not know of any case where the Bible has been proved wrong. Dr. Joseph P. Free. Archaeology amazing findings. It may be stated categorically that no archaeological discovery has ever controverted a biblical reference. Scores of archaeological findings have been made which confirm in clear outline or exact detail historical statements in the Bible, and by the same token, proper evaluation of biblical descriptions have often led to amazing discoveries. From Dr. Nelson Gluick. Archaeological data corroborates the Bible. Following the 1993 discovery of Israel of a stone containing the inscriptions House of David and King of Israel, Time magazine stated, this writing dated to the 9th century BC. Only a century after David's reign, described a victory by a neighboring king over the Israelites. The skeptics claim that David never existed is now hard to defend. Time, December 18, 1995. During the past 4 decades, spectacular discoveries have produced data corroborating the historical backdrop of the Gospels. In 1968, for example, the skeletal remains of a crucified man were found in a burial cave in northern Jerusalem. There was evidence that his wrists may have been pierced with nails, the knees had been doubled up and turned sideways with an iron nail still lodged in the heel bone of one foot, driven through the heels. The shin bone appeared to have been broken, perhaps corroborating the Gospels of John. Jeffrey L. Schiller, Is the Bible True? By Reader's Digest, June 2000. The Bible and the Hittite Empire. The scriptures make more than 40 references to the great Hittite Empire. However, until 100 years ago, there was no archaeological evidence to substantiate the biblical claim that the Hittites existed. Skeptics declared that the Bible was in error until their mouths were suddenly stopped. In 1906, Hugo Winkler uncovered a huge library of 10,000 clay tablets, which completely documented the lost Hittite Empire. We now know that at its height, the Hittite civilization rivaled Egypt and Assyria in its glory and power. Excavation confirms the Bible. A hidden burial chamber dating from the 1st century was discovered in 1990, 2 miles from the Temple Mountain. One bore the bones of a man in his 60s with an inscription, Yosef bar Koyaf, meaning Joseph, son of Capheus. Experts believe this was Caiaphas, the high priest of Jerusalem, who was involved in the arrest of Jesus, interrogated him. Let me read that sentence again. Joseph, son of Caiaphas. Experts believe this was Caiaphas, the high priest of Jerusalem, who was involved in the arrest of Jesus, interrogating him, and handed him over to Pontius Pilate for execution. A few decades earlier, excavation at Caesarea Maritima. I'm gonna spell that. Caesarea Maritama. Sorry, I suck at reading. The ancient seat of Roman government in Judea uncovered a stone slab whose complete inscription may have read, Pontius Pilate, the prefect of Judea, has dedicated to the people of, Caesarea, a temple in honor of Tiberius. The discovery is truly significant, establishing that the man depicted in the Gospels as Judean's Roman governor had the authority ascribed to him by the Gospels written. Jeffrey L. Schiller, Is the Bible True? Reader's Digest, June 2000. That is the end of that chapter. We have 1, 2, 3. I think only 3 more to go. I think we have 3 more to go. Anyhow, it's been a very tired day. I know I did a bad job reading today, but that's okay. Hopefully you get the gist of what I've said. And tune in tomorrow for another segment of Scientific Facts of the Bible. See you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.